few years ago, I was at a course, and a woman came up to me and she said, I wasn't teaching the course, I was in the course. And she said, I just have to tell you that every time you speak, it really stresses me out. And I said, well, I've heard that before, but do you want to be more specific? And she said, yeah, your tone of voice reminds me of somebody that I had a really terrible experience with. I said, well, okay, I can't change my voice, but I really appreciate that you acknowledge that, and it also will help explain why you seem to cringe every time I speak, which I hadn't noticed until then. But after that, I did notice she had a very immediate and kind of visceral response to my speech. I think just by telling you that your voice was really difficult for me to listen to, it's actually becoming more tolerable to me. And by the end, we actually became pretty good friends, and we're still in touch. And so what this says is that the recognition of something, whether or not that's an emotional thing or a desire to learn something else, is actually the first step in neuroplasticity. If I get up out of this chair and walk out of the door, I don't think about each step that I'm taking, and that's because I learned how to walk during development. But when we decide that we're going to shift some sort of behavior or some reaction or some new piece of information that we want to learn is something that we want to bring into our consciousness, that awareness is a remarkable thing because it cues the brain and the rest of the nervous system that when we engage in those reflexive actions going forward, that those reflexive actions are no longer fated to be reflexive. But the first step in neuroplasticity is recognizing that you want to change something. We have to know what it is exactly that we want to change. Or if we don't know exactly what it is that we want to change, we at least have to know that we want to change something about some specific experience. Now, there are specific protocols that science tells us we have to follow if we want those changes to occur.